There are very few anime communities as patient as Hunter x Hunter anime community is, being that they get a chapter once in a blue moon and a new anime season once in 20 years. So, till we get another episode or chapter from Hunter x Hunter, we always need to remind ourselves what Hunter x Hunter is truly about. Even though it falls under shonen genre, we all can agree that it's so much more than just your generic shonen anime. And such an amazing anime has plenty of moments which still makes us either sad or excited. So in this video, we will look at the top 10 list of moments from Hunter x Hunter anime. So without any further ado, let's start with our video. Starting off our list with the moment when Kurapika kills Uvogin. Being that Kurapika has talked about crushing the Phantom Troop ever since he was introduced, it was about time we see an actual fight. Plus for the first fight, he chose Uvogin, who was the tallest and the most muscular member of the Phantom Troop. They begin their fight and Kurapika is seemingly able to endure all of the Uvogin's attacks. Kurapika eventually captures Uvogin with Chain Jail and reveals his Emperor Time ability, questioning him about the location and abilities of other troop members. Refusing to answer any of the questions, finally Kurapika pierces Uvogin's chest with his judgment chain, setting the condition that Uvogin must answer all of his questions honestly and promising to allow him to live a little longer if he complies. Kurapika once again asks Uvogin to tell the location of other troop members, but Uvogin again smiles and just tells him to get lost. Kurapika's judgment chain then activates and crushes Uvogin's heart, killing him instantly. On the 9th number, the moment is the reunion of Leorio and Gon. If you are telling me that you didn't absolutely bawl your eyes out when Leorio was finally reunited with now healed Gon, you are either a liar or a psychopath. In episode 145, Leorio is running for the election against Pariston Hill and gets angry, saying that he has no idea what they are talking about and that he is in a hurry to save Gon. Then the doors to the room opens up and Morel screams for Leorio and raises his thumb. Then a fully healed Gon enters the room, followed by those who stood guard over him. And Leorio screams for Gon and jumps forward, saying that he was so worried. While Gon also jumps towards him, shouting his name in the mid-air while they hug also in the mid-air. Leorio is about to win the election but loses all the motivation to continue after a fully healed Gon appears before him thanks to the power of Aluka, eventually opening the way to Pariston's victory.
ウーボーさん、聞こえますか？俺たちからのレクイエムです。
On the 8th number, the moment is Chrollo's Requiem. Due to the death of Uvogin, the Phantom Troop infiltrates the cemetery building where the auction is supposed to be held. Phaeton tells Finks about the message he received from their boss, telling them to go wild. But Fink asks him about the others and Phaeton replies that they are on their way to the cemetery building, but they are cleaning up the trash while approaching the building. Other members of the troop except Hisoka, who watches from afar, are seen in the streets of Yorknew City disposing all the police and mafia members. Meanwhile, Chrollo uses his Nen ability Indoor Fish on an assassin A, which has torn his body to pieces but kept him alive. Chrollo opens the window and Assassin A is instantly killed, as per the rule of the ability. After that, Chrollo, while stating the prophecy that's been foretold to him, performs a requiem by shedding blood dedicated to Uvogin. Truly one of my favorite and the most wild scene from the Yorknew City Arc.
俺はお前と戦えない。もう念能力も全く使えないんだ。
On the 7th number, the moment is when Hisoka challenges Chrollo. In the Yorknew City Arc, Kurapika abducts Chrollo with his abilities and wants to exchange him for Gon and Killua, who are held by other Phantom Troop members. Pakudona finally arrives at the designated place to do that. After Melody verifies her, Kurapika gives two conditions for both Pakudona and Chrollo. The first rule for Chrollo is that he is forbidden to use Nen, and the second is that he may not contact any members of the Phantom Troop. After Pakudona accepts the conditions, Kurapika puts the chain on Chrollo and they begin the exchange. Kurapika and the others leave immediately after that. However, the spider are still there. Hisoka challenges Chrollo to a duel, but Chrollo says that he is not worth fighting since he cannot use his rain for now. This shocks Hisoka as he leaves immediately. But this was such an interesting and more unexpected moments for the fans, as they have never seen Hisoka in this funny avatar since the first episode, and we get this blue bald face of Hisoka, which really made this moment one of the most favorite moments from the series. On the sixth number, the moment is when Gon returns the favor. Ever since that faithful meeting in the forest when Hisoka loaned him the number plate from the exam, I was just waiting for Gon to finally return it to Hisoka. And in the Heaven's Arena, it finally happened. Gon and Hisoka finally fight each other in Heaven's Arena with thousands of eyes watching them in the stadium. Although it is far-fetched to say that Gon outpowered Hisoka in any way, shape or form, but it was still nice to see him finally stand his own ground and at least give a raging clown a few smack to the face. Even though the referee gave him a critical hit which brought the match score to 2-1, Gon's punch was so weak for Hisoka that the announcer thought Hisoka didn't feel Gon's attack and questioned the referee's decision.
親父、気をつけろ。奴は他人の能力を盗む。
On the next number, the moment is when Chrollo fights against Silva and Zeno. In the cemetery building where the mafia members are getting killed by the phantom troop, the situation inside the building is uncontrollable, in which the members of the mafia starts to panic and wants to protect themselves by breaking the rules of the auction. Zeno and Silva appears and warns the mafia about the member of Phantom Troop who has sneaked inside the building, making them realize how strong he is by saying that he can kill them all in less than 10 seconds. Zeno and Silva finally finds Chrollo's location, and after a short chat, the three makes their moves and start a battle. We realize that there was only one purpose of Zoldix vs Chrollo fight, to flex the animation team and show us what the big boy players of the series are capable of doing. Right away you kind of know that neither side is really trying their absolute best, but rather feeling out their opponent. After a few minutes of absolutely beautiful Nen display, the two sides part away, both are now aware of the power of their adversary. On the fourth number, the moment is the end of Kite. In the Chimera Ant arc, when Gon, Killua and Kite are trying to reach the base of Chimera Ants, they get sensed by Neferpito, who is one of the royal guards of the King Meruem. And as Pito arrives at the place where three of them are standing in rocket speed, she cuts a hand of Kite upon just arriving in front of them. After that, Kite tells Gon and Killua to run off in the jungle while he holds Pito back. At this point, we think that he might be able to handle Pito alone, literally single-handedly now, but unable to stand up to the Chimera Ant's strength, Kite is killed by Neferpito. Since Neferpito enjoyed their fight with Kite, they kept the body instead of feeding it to the queen. Soon after, his body is reanimated and used as a training dummy for the new Ant recruits. Knuckle and Shoot manages to capture him afterwards and brings him before Gon. But taking some blows from Kite, Gon hugs him and vows to get Neferpito so he can save him. On the next number, the moment is the arrival of Netero and Zeno. As the invasion on the royal palace starts and everyone runs towards their enemies, suddenly two old men jump off a giant dragon and dive down to the palace. Neferpito is the first one to notice and is immediately alarmed. As she diverts her end towards oncoming force, Shayapov is the next to notice. Both royal guards are surprised to see a Nen dragon diving down towards them. Still suspended in the air, Netero begins to move his hand very slowly, which appears fluid and gradual to Neferpito. Below Netero, an aura is emitted and strikes Pito as fast that even a royal guard cannot dodge. It really looked like the beginning of a bloody war. It was an excellent way to start this drawn out battle, as it contributes to a lot to the story too. As this reign of death eventually led to Komugi getting hurt and all of these things that happened because of it. Also, is there no limit to Neferepito's leg muscles? Like you know for sure she doesn't skip leg days.
おやすみなさい。メルエム。私もすぐ行きますから。
On the second number, the moment is of death of Meruem and Komugi. After surviving the poor man's rose bomb and coming back even more powerful than before, Meruem loses his memories. At least he remembers his name, that he is the king. But other than that, he has a strong feeling that something vital is missing. Finally, Meruem remembers that what he has forgotten. And after finding Komugi, they set up a gungi board to play one last time. Meruem tells his name to Komugi and also confesses that he has been poisoned and that he will die shortly. He also warns her that the poison is contagious, but Komugi continues to play, choosing to stay by his side until the very end. Meruem eventually goes blind, keep asking, "Komugi, are you still there?" Which Komugi replies yes. After a while, they both pass away together, holding their hands at the very end. And do you want to know the most single incredible thing about the conclusion from this scene? It is that the Meruem was not able to defeat Komugi, not even once. On the first number, the movement is of Gon's last stand. After Gon takes Pito to heal half-dead Kite and understands that his body and mind is beyond repair, he takes Pito into the forest. Neferepito declares that it must kill Gon Freeze for the king's sake. But while Gon, enraged after Kite's death, a dark aura envelops around him, outclassing the ant's strength completely. When Killua arrives at the scene, he discovers his transformed friend standing next to Neferepito's corpse, which begins to move out of their devotion to the king. Killua reacts to the movement and rushes to save Gon, but the corpse moves faster and rips off Gon's right arm. He grabs his torn right arm and impels Pito's body with it. He prepares to use another Jajanken, a far stronger one this time though, until Killua calls out his name. In a fleeting moment, Gon snaps out of his rage, but a powerful explosion comes shortly, destroying the whole forest, which also eventually almost kills Gon if it wasn't for Aluka. And I think that's for today's video, guys. That was the video about top 10 movements from Hunter x Hunter anime. What are your thoughts about this video? Let me know which is your favorite movement from this list in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, news, theories and all sorts of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.